So Drake's finally dropped Certified Lover Boy, and I'm here to give my review of it. I'm Ollie Rodriguez-Storm, and if you go on to enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date with all my music reviews, as well as any other videos I do make in the future. Straight off the bat, I like this album. I think it's a pretty solid and strong Drake project. I really liked it. Every song is listenable to me, and I just enjoyed it all the way throughout. I think if I were to describe it or compare it to his previous projects, I'd kind of say there's a mix of, if you're reading this too late, with Take Care. I feel like there's a real blend of those two albums, probably a few others obviously, but like those two are the ones that sort of stand out in the sound to me. And it feels like there's a lot of influence of this album taken from them. But actually, the thing I wanted to talk about was this cover. What the fuck is this? This is literally the worst album cover you could ever make. However, one thing I would say is it is so bad that it's actually good, because it sparks a lot of conversation, people are commenting on it, and it also has made it more memorable because of how bad it is. So in a way, it's kind of a genius album cover. But personally, I would have made it this one right here, which he posted a while back, and I think this was like when it was originally supposed to drop in February, around then. But I prefer this as a cover much more, as like kind of a throwback to Take Care, and just a bit of a kind of like where he was then and where he is now. I would have loved this as an album cover more, but for this one, I'll give it props that it does become a memorable cover for how bad it is. But let's talk about the track list and the songs that really stood out to me and I really liked. Because it's the intro, we're going to go with Champagne Poetry. I like the song as an introduction to the album. It really set it up well. I really liked the sample of, well, I'm not sure what the sample is or how to describe it, but the I love you bits, I quite like that as an actual part of the song, and feels like it really adds to the song quite a bit, and it just feels like a nice way for Drake to set up what he's actually talking about on the album, and it's really good like listen, but it's not like one I'm really going to go out my way to listen to if I just want to listen to like one song or something from the album. It's quite long, but it's a good start to an album itself. But then actually I was like, when I read the sort of like track list, this song I thought was just not going to be a hit for me, but I really like Papi's Home. I love this song. I love the kind of groove it's got going for it. I love how it sounds. It's probably one of my favorites on the album, but this is a really solid one. I'll be honest, I'm not really a big fan of the whole idea of like how many kids Drake's had kind of thing, and the kind of message it gives off, but overall I like it as a song. It's pretty good like vibe to listen to. Then there's Girls Want Girls, and this is just, there's only one line in this song that matters, and that is Drake saying, "This masterful piece of lyricism." Drake has changed gender now, everyone, and Drake is a lesbian. He's finally come out. Drake, well done. Like, again, I feel like that line just goes with the album cover. It's so shit that it is good. Like, that's how it is. Then we have Love All, that features Jay-Z, and Jay-Z just steals this track for me. I love Jay's bit on this whole song, and it's just great to listen to, and just, it's a vibe, and it kind of feels like, to me, I was listening to it and it felt like something, I know Rick Ross is on the album later on, but it felt like a song like Roses that Drake did with Rick Ross, and felt like Rick Ross could have even been on this track as well. But obviously Jay did it really well and I liked it. Next up, there's Fair Trade with Travis Scott. Really liked the vibe of this track as well, and the message that Drake's sort of saying in it, with how it's like how he's happy to trade in his friends in order to maintain peace and actually not have any snitches or snakes or whatever in his crew or whatnot. And it's just like, honestly, I understand why it's called fair trade, and I quite like the meaning behind it, to be honest. And kind of also goes over a bit in my head, like how for Drake it's kind of like, it's where he's at and how he's got to look after himself, because there are so many people who want something from him that he needs to just get rid of those people and trade them in order to maintain his peace. And I kind of fuck with that, to be honest. Now, I'm not going to go through all the tracks, don't worry, this is going to be the final one that goes kind of in order, and that is a song that I did not know was going to make any form of comeback in 2021, Way Too Sexy. Like, non-ironically, well, when I first heard this song, actually, I hated it. I did not like it. It was kind of just like a throwaway, what the fuck are you doing? I've listened to it several times. I've seen the music video. It's grown on me. And I hate the fact it's grown on me, because it is a stupid song, but I fucking like it. I like how they took the original song and like obviously sampled it, but then Future sort of came on it and like made it work somehow as a hook. Like when I first heard that hook, I was a bit like, it's a bit off and like doesn't really work, but then it does. It just, there's something about it that is catchy and just really works well for me. It's a little bit of like, it's kind of like, just don't take it as a serious song and just enjoy it for what it is, and you do actually learn to love it when you look at it like that. But I feel like some people will take it a bit seriously and just like feel like it's just, what the fuck are you doing? But it's a good song in my opinion, and I quite like it. It's a bit of fun, and it adds a bit of character and flavour to the album. But anyway, other songs that I really liked: Yeva's Heartbreak, No Friends in the Industry, 7 AM on whatever it's called, Bridal Path. And I really like this song from Drake. I love the drums on it, I love just the sound of it and just the melody of it, and just like how it's just Drake speaking. And this is honestly probably some of the most like best bars that Drake has done on a project or on a song, in my opinion. This is some of his best lyricism. This feels like Drake actually digging deep and actually saying some shit. And I know it's like mainly in regards to Kanye and just everything there, but I don't care why he's saying it, because he just sounds like he's got passion and natural meaning behind what he's saying in this one. Because with Drake, a lot of the time you get him, it feels like he's just more appealing to people than saying it, and not really saying it because he wants to. He's just having fun on a lot of his songs, and he's saying it for the sake of saying it. Whereas in this, it feels like he wants to say something, whether it's to Kanye or whatever else in the song. It feels like it's coming from a place within him that he really wants to say it, and just feels like there's a proper fire lit under him. And then honestly, I think the back end of the album is probably got my favorite parts on it, with the Kid Cudi song. I love that. Like, to me, that's honestly just a Kid Cudi song with Drake featured on it. Like, it's completely just Cudi sounding, and it's just so fucking good. I love that as a song. You Only Live Twice, I really like Lil Wayne and Rick Ross on those songs, and I just fucking love the sound of it. And I just kind of love the whole celebration feel of the song, just how uplifting it is. It's so good of a song, and I like it, and that's probably one of the songs I'm actually just going to add to my playlist anyway. And then finally, The Remorse, which I'd say is pretty similar for why I like it, for the reasons I gave for 7 AM. I really feel like it's, again, Drake feeling like he wants to say something and sort of like actually has some more meaning behind the song, and like his lyricism, and feels like there's that fire there. I really like it, and I think it's a really solid end to an album like this. Now, in terms of giving this album a score, I'm gonna go for a 7.5. The reason it's not like an 8 is because all the songs are overall, they're listenable, they're really good sounding, but there's nothing that really stands out as a, I'm not sure how to put it, like a banger, I don't know, but like there's nothing on this album that's like a God's plan. And I'm not saying that to have a great 10 out of 10 album, you need to have a song that's like going all through mainstream, is on all the radio stations, because a few of these definitely are going to be on all the radio stations and whatnot, added to playlists and shit, but there's nothing like a God's plan that feels like it's going to take over the world and be heard everywhere. And of course you don't need that for a successful album, but all the songs feel good. Everything feels good, but nothing feels absolutely great. And if I'm going to compare Donda to Certified Lover Boy, what I would have to say is that if you want to watch my review of Donda, then go and press the video that's just appeared right there. But with Kanye, with Donda anyway, it just felt like there was something missing from it. Not all the songs were listenable, it was too long, it was quite boring, etc, etc. I had a lot of problems with it, but when it was good, it was amazing. And for all the songs that I didn't like in between, there was at least a small handful of songs that felt like, fucking hell, that felt impactful. But with Drake's album, with Certified Lover Boy, it felt like there was, all the songs were listenable all the way throughout, but there wasn't anything that ever really made me feel like, yes, I have to have this on my playlist, I must add it right now, sort of thing. Whereas with, at least with Donda, there were those songs where I was like, fuck it, I'm going to listen to that again. And even though in my review I may not have had that outlook on it, sometimes past now, and I do actually like a few of the songs that stand out, but because of how much is in that album, and for how long it is, and for how little of those songs there are, it just doesn't work for me, and is why I still would stand by the score I gave it. Whereas with Drake, I feel like it deserves a 7.5, because at least each song I like to some extent, but there's just not that extra thing that makes me go, this is an incredible album, I'm gonna like rave about this like for however long. Like, it's not gonna go and make me tattoo an album's name on my arm or anything. And I feel like a 7.5 is like a good score for it, because I feel like 7's like a good album, but this is just the extra step above good. And I feel like that's a score that could genuinely change in the future for me. Also, with the whole Kanye and Drake beef and whatnot, just throw my 5 cents in there, or whatever you want to call it. Certified Lover Boy is the album that I prefer way more than Donda, like 1,000 times over. If you gave me the option to pick between what I'm going to listen to, it is Certified Lover Boy all the way. But since Certified Lover Boy dropped, Drake obviously dropped Kanye's unreleased track with Andre 3000, and it's a really good song. And I do not understand why Kanye, I saw basically this Instagram account I follow, and it said Kanye was actually like preparing to release this like last night or something, but it didn't drop. And it's like, if you want to come back and actually just like come back and on top, then you should have dropped the song as a song to listen to on Friday, and like you knew Drake was going to say something about you. You've kind of just given him even more of a spark. He was the one who dropped the song, he just laughed in your face about it. And sure, it's kind of like, as this meme that I'm showing you right now like kind of suggests, it's kind of like Drake just shot himself with it, because it's kind of blown back and everyone's gone, this is really good. Because it really is a good song, and I know Andre 3000 came out and said something about it, and I love Andre's verse. I fucking love it so much. And he explained why it didn't release and why it wasn't, because it was a bit more explicit, and obviously it doesn't fit the whole theme of Kanye's album and his whole religious stuff. And Kanye's verse on it's really good. I kind of wish it was a bit more on the same line as Andre's verse on what it's talking about and the subject matter, rather than it just being a Drake diss. But he so should have just released this on Friday when that drops, because then that would have got more people talking. Obviously there's the argument where it could help Drake's sales and whatnot, but it doesn't really matter, because I think this has already broken the highest amount of streams on like day one of a Spotify release or whatever, so fair play to Drake for that. But yeah, in terms of beef, I think it's a bit pointless. I think it's just kind of unnecessary and just not needed, especially between these two guys, and it's just like, whatever, it's just gonna happen now. I feel like they've like caused too many issues between each other to try and fix anything, but you never know, because obviously Nas and Jay-Z made amends after a while, so I guess anything's possible. You never know, one day we might get a song with both these guys on it, but it looks very unlikely right now. So yeah, that's my current review on Certified Lover Boy and everything I've really got to say about it. I really liked the album, it was pretty solid, good listen, 7.5 out of 10, and yeah, so I'll see you in my next video. I've been on this.
Yeah, you know that we're winning this.
So let's get the drums up, let's get the smoke up, let's get those arms up, put your heart in your cup, now keep the music up. Wow. Make it so loud we can't hear the fucking neighbors saying turn that shit down. And let's get so fucked, we're like police December 31st, we cannot get back up, and that's because tomorrow our dreams are coming true. So before